College athletes wanted in the business side of the sport, and they got it. They wanted to be able to move freely with no repercussion like the coaches do, and they got it. So when new coaches like Deion Sanders tell the players he inherited at Colorado that some new guys are coming in to probably take their spots, and if they want to go ahead and hit the portal, they need to do it, there should be no complaining or backlash. You want it in the business, now you're in it, and you have to take the good with the bad. It's a good life lesson for the players as well. Now, the players used to be at a disadvantage, and some would say they were taken advantage of. But now the playing field is even. It's easier than ever to leave as a player and harder than ever to create stability and build culture over time as a coach. Now, if coaches don't perform, they get fired. And in today's game, it happens faster than we've ever seen it. And while not every player is getting paid, not every player will have the opportunity or not every player will want to leave, Prime saying what he said in that team meeting 5 years ago would have been viewed as unfair and vitriolic. But in the era of NIL and the transfer portal, it's just business, baby. Will he win big at Colorado? I think it's a bridge job to another even bigger job. But to call the playing field unfair is unfair in itself. I'm going to bring in my co-host, former Michigan quarterback, part-time superhero, and leader of 7 Foot Island.
Full-time, I just don't do it all the time.
No,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm there.
Part of the time you're full-time.
Great hindsight right there.
I'm at the ready.
Part of the time you're full-time. My brother, former Western State Colorado wide receiver, curator of the chat,
And owner of 7 Foot Island.
and vice.
No.
No, actually, assistant to the manager of 7 Footer Island.
Make stuff up.
Blaine.
That's what you do. Make stuff up.
You're a founder, though.
Guys, I want to get into. You're on the board, Blaine. I want to get into whether Prime will win big at Colorado.
Okay.
I tend to think this is a gateway job.
A little bridge job.
Like you hear the term gateway drug. This is a gateway job to the top of the college football coaching tier from a brand resource traditional place like maybe a Florida State down the road. If it doesn't work out for Mike Norvell, he takes another job, or maybe an Ohio State or somewhere like that. But with the way the business is now, with NIL and the transfer portal, I have no problem with a coach coming in there and saying, guys, look, here's the deal. I would much rather you be truthful to me than lie to me about the situation and just leave me hanging there not knowing. Be a bobblehead quarterback.
I think most have done that anyway, right? Like the coaches you guys worked for. It is a different time now, and I find this is very interesting because it's such an exciting hire at the most interesting time that we've seen in college football. You made some great points in the open. To the point about big business, I think college football has always been big business, and when these coaches' jobs are on the line, you owe it to yourself and to your family and the other players who stay on the team and the new players who come in to do whatever is necessary to win football games. This is something that I always warned. I've been asked about pay-for-play and NIL for 15 years, ever since I was a player, right after I got done playing, and then as name, image, and likeness came about. And I said, be very careful, because the more and more you start to become an employee, the more and more opportunity a university is going to have to fire you. And we talked about the statistics yesterday of the kids who jump in the transfer portal, and we're looking at maybe 40%. 45, something like that, don't receive another offer on the other end of that. I think where things are going to get really interesting is if you have, say, an offensive lineman who's a junior, who's never made a penny off NIL, he's not got any sponsorships, no endorsements, nothing like that, a year away from graduating, isn't playing as well as he did as a freshman or as he was as a high school recruit. New coaching staff comes in, they don't really want the kid there anymore, forced into the portal essentially, and there's no spot for him on the other end to graduate. That's where we're really going to get into a conversation of, is this even college football anymore? Which is why I've sort of said, why don't we just make the USFL a minor league football system?
Well, I will say though, and I know some of it is unofficial, but the 4-year scholarship there, the ability of a coach to go in there and just kick a guy that is on a full scholarship off of the scholarship without some nefarious reason, or to just say you have to go to the transfer portal and leave the football team. I don't think we're at that level yet. Will we get to that level?
We're knocking on the door.
We're knocking on the door. And I'm going to be honest with you, David. I'm going to be honest with you. Again, before the NIL stuff and the transfer portal freedom, that would be looked at as an unforgivable sin. But in the era we're in, if you're going to be on full scholarship and you're going to be able to make money, and like you said, not everybody will. If I'm coming in and it's my job to win games, that's what it's my job to, and to develop players off the field. But I'm not going to be able to develop players off the field if I'm not winning games because my ass isn't going to be there coaching to develop them. So when it comes down to me putting food on my family's table and I'm coming into a job and you've got an offensive lineman that is on scholarship that's eating a spot and I have to try and make a move to get us a better player in there, I'm going to do everything in my power to get him set up to go to another place that would accept him in the scholarship like that. But at the end of the day, now that you're in the business, welcome to it. And I think it's great for the young people. I think it is, people will look at it as a negative for the young people. I think it's great for you. You're about to learn about business. You wanted it. You wanted it. You wanted to get in here. And you wanted to be able to get paid and things like that outside of a scholarship. Okay, you're about to learn how the business world works because you can't on one hand sit here and say, oh, well, this is all about just the person, has nothing to do with football. Oh, here's this full scholarship. Here's $100,000 from Goodyear tires, but it's really not that important. You got to take the good with the bad in the situation. I think it could be a lesson for young people that if you're going to operate in the jungle, you better learn how to become a lion a little bit.
Blaine, one last point on Deion specifically. I don't think most people who saw the video of Deion Sanders, his introduction at Colorado there, took issue with this, what we're talking about saying, hey, hop in the portal. Or at least not for me, what it was the way that he was saying this to players. Like, I already have guaranteed spots. I know who's going to start. I haven't even met you or evaluated you, but my son's going to play quarterback. I think more people had issue with that than coming in and saying, oh, he wants to, clean out a team that just went 1-11 and wants to win. And if you're not on board with that, you're soft. I wasn't getting a sense from that from people who.
No. I'm talking about from a more like holistic societal perspective. Mm-hmm. My thoughts on the way he did it was, look, there's two ways you can look at this. All right, you can look at that and be like, man, that was maybe the wrong way to handle it. Maybe wasn't the right words or the right way to go about it. Is that something that needs to be a private conversation between you and the individuals that are there? Yeah, you can make that case. But I tell you, in the long run, I'd rather have somebody that came in there and that was honest with me, like we were saying yesterday, than somebody that would come in and be like, hey, yeah, Blaine, come in here and sit down. Come here and sit down. You're going to have a great chance to start. If I was you, I wouldn't leave and then go to a coach's meeting and be like, hey, look, we know Blaine's not going to start, but just in case Jeff gets hurt, we've got to keep Blaine here and dangle the string around him. So I think there's multiple ways to look at it. The way you go about it, I think, is what
I played for both types.
Yeah,
I played for both types of those coaches.
Well, you wanted to go in there and breed competition. Obviously, I wouldn't go in there and secure a spot for any player that I really don't know who's not on my roster, and I haven't seen these guys go. So I didn't like that from Deion. So you really don't know what you have until you see it player-wise. I mean, I'm sure you watch film and the guys you already have. But there's levels to it, and I think Deion wants to go in there and to make sure that he's 100% open with these guys. And one thing as a player, that's one thing I liked. I want to know what you're thinking, exactly what you're feeling. I don't want coach talk, coach speak, or beating around the bush for anything. Tell me exactly what it is that need to get done. Tell me what you need from me, and if I don't deliver that, then you can push me off to the portal, whatever it is. But you don't go in there securing spots for guys who had from another school who really haven't came in there and earned it, in my opinion. Those kids matter at Colorado, and those kids deserve to get seen a chance on the field.
Yeah, well, look, I know the kids at Colorado matter. Here's my thing. I get what you're saying. You want to build competition, but I want to build competition with my guys. I want to build competition with the guys that I've brought in there. If there's some guys that have a losing mentality that we've seen at Colorado that are there, I think he's going in there setting a message. I want to be competition with my guys.
Those are his guys.
Yeah, those are his guys.
Listen, let me finish. No, those aren't his guys. He's going to get
guys. You're the head
some
coach
of those
Colorado.
players.
Yeah, those are your players.
Those are your guys, man. Just because you didn't recruit them, that's the point of coming in.
No. Those again. We can say that. That's great to say. That's nice to say. That's nice to put on a pillow. That's nice to quilt into a blanket and keep at your house. He is going to bring in his guys. There are some from Colorado that are going to stay there, and those are going to be his guys. Every coach comes in and trim the fat. I didn't hear anybody complaining when Nick Saban came in there and was cutting people left and right.
Those were professionals he fired, staff.
No, I'm talking about at Alabama. He processed more players at Alabama when he took over that job that were hurt or that weren't playing well. This isn't a new phenomenon. But I don't think we can treat the transfer portal like we can treat high school recruiting because it is a proven commodity. I know I'm not getting Jordan Addison to leave Pitt to go to USC if he is not starting. There is a certain level that we have to approach Free agency, you sign free agents in the NFL to play. It's like signing JUCO players in recruiting. You don't sign JUCO players to sit the bench. You are bringing in transfers into play. So if I know that Jordan Addison is coming over here, best believe everybody in that wide receiver room is going to know, and I have to tell him that to be able to bring him over there. Plus, you're paying these kids NIL on top of it. And you remember when USC had that problem during the summer of not giving Jordan Addison his NIL money when they guaranteed that and stuff like that?
Well, that's what I'm saying is like these colleges aren't supposed to be paying the NIL money. We keep coming back to the same conversation
they're
over
allowed
and over
to.
again.
They're allowed to.
Okay,
you have to embrace
in
it.
some cases.
I don't like it as much as you do. I don't think
It's not
NIL
about
should be in the
liking
portal.
it or whatever. There's no standard because you're saying that these schools are now paying players NIL money. Some are, but some of them aren't, and some of them are going straight directly with the brands. We had Bruce Scala on here from Hooters who was saying, well, every school's different. With Miami, we have to pay our off, or we have to.
Which that's NIL. I want that, David.
I know, but that's a relationship directly with Hooters and the offensive line.
Yes.
One school's involved between that, and another school's not involved between that. So every school right now is a different situation.
Every school is in a different situation, but every school was in a different situation before we even started NIL. Like, it's not, everybody's not on the same playing field. That doesn't exist. Players have been getting paid, you know this, forever. It's been behind the table, under the table. Guys were getting more than other guys.
Where was mine?
Yeah, I'm
Where
with
is
you.
mine?
I'm with you.
I didn't get any.
I'm with you.
That McDonald's bag, I just threw it out.
Yeah,
I
Chick-fil-A
thought it was old
Well, that
hash
McDonald's
browns.
bag just had McDonald's in it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Money, it's just McDonald's.
And I was thankful for that.
We're going to find out with Deion Sanders. Can he do this stuff on the periphery at the highest level like he will in recruiting? Can he match the players that are there with the structure and the organization and the program efficiency that you have to have in today's game to be able to compete at the Power 5 level? Look, getting players we know is the most important part. You cannot bake the cake without the ingredients. But there's a lot of chefs out there that have the same type of ingredients that can't bake the cake as good as the best do. That's what we're going to find out about Deion Sanders. You do that with the staff you hired. I think he's done a really good job of putting guys around him that understand what's going on. I mean, you have head coaches leaving positions to be coordinators. Sean Lewis, that was a smart move from Kent State. We're going to find out from a holistic perspective, can Deion Sanders at a place that hasn't had a lot of success lately, but we know you can win there at Colorado in a conference that is losing right now, USC and UCLA for the time being. But as our buddy Tim Brando said, hell, Colorado may be in the Big 12 for this.
They may be moving to the Big 12. And we didn't answer the question whether he will win there. What's your prediction here before he takes another job?
I think this first season, there's gonna be some feeling out. Feels like maybe 7-5, something like that. First year,
That's a new job.
If he goes 7-5, he won't coach there a second year.
Look, I'm just telling you, I think there's a chance with the players that they have that they'll go bowling. Let's put it that way. Whether that's 5-7 and you get in on a technicality like we've seen.
A Chuck Norris ruling?
A Chuck Norris ruling.
A Chuck Norris situation?
Look, it's a bylaw. It's a bylaw. 6-6 or maybe 7-5. With that schedule, it's going to be tough, especially the back end of that schedule is absolutely loaded.
Yeah.
It's J-Lo back end.
I think it's realistic to say that Deion Sanders could win 10 to 12 games in 2 seasons at Colorado.
I think
10
that's
to 12
a possibility.
Games. And what Mel Tucker went 5-7 in 1 year at Colorado and got the Michigan State job. If he can do that, I don't know if Deion Sanders even needs to win games to be able to get his next job.
To me, this is his bridge to Terabithia.
Because I think other schools are going to see, even if he goes in and wins 2 games, he's going to say, well, I did better than the one win season they had before. And they're going to see, another school is going to see all the players that flock from the portal to Deion Sanders to play for him. And another school is going to give him an opportunity regardless.
Hey, everybody, stop what you're doing, unless you're listening to me, then continue to do it. Then hit subscribe, turn that notification bell on, and like these videos. Because if you're watching it, pretty sure you're going to like it.